If you want a deck that wins extremely fast, then look no further than this Hitmonchan variant I'm about to show you. So why am I even showing you Hitmonchan? I truly believe this deck was terrible, but at the recent Pocket Match tournament, which is the biggest tournament every single week, only 3 people played it, but 2 of them made day 2. And then I tried the list that I liked more, and I went 8-2 in games with it, and all of my victories were like ridiculously fast. So before I throw the deck list up, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, trying to hit 20k subscribers. Every single one of you that helps me get there, you will hold a very special place in my heart. Thank you so much. Okay, so here's the list. Now, it is like, it's basic, it is what you would think to do with Hitmonchan, right? Play Hitmonchan, play Rampardos, but we are not doing any of the Lucario stuff. I think that has proved to be pretty bad. Like, all of our basic attackers here, and I'm going to show you through these games, we get value out of every single basic attacker in this deck. You want whoever is starting in the active spot to have some sort of value turn 1, right? Hitmonchan is just going to do 50. Hitmonlee can snipe the bench, and Chingling is going to be item locking. All of those are pretty decent starters. Hitmonlee is maybe the worst one, but we do some Hitmonlee cheese later on. Like, it's just very funny. And here, I got to show you this, because a lot of these games were just hilarious like this. I see a Slugma go on the bench. I know what Macargo does. He does damage based on... Well, he does damage randomly, but he can also hit your opponent. It can also hit the opponent's Pokemon as well. So I'm like, I'm not going to knock out that Charmander. I'm going to Sabrina the Slugma and smack him, because if he has Macargo, I want the chance that he maybe knocks out his own Charmander with it. So I'm just going to bring that Slugma up, man, and I'm going to hit it for 50 and see where we go. There are no Giovanni in this deck, nothing like that. We're not trying to get any cheese, like totally cheese wins by starting Hitmonchan, starting Giovanni, and I think that makes a lot of sense when you're running other basic Pokemon. Look at this. Does 50 to my Hitmonchan and 100 to the Charmander. Takes 20 from the Rocky Helmet. Perfect setup for Hitmonchan to punch that stupid slug in the face and get it out of here, man. Get out of here. Is my opponent even going to let me? No, they concede. You're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of your opponent conceded with this deck. It is very, very funny. It is like ridiculous how fast this deck is and how fast it can get you wins. And my only 2 losses were to another Chingling deck where I started Chingling, but they went first and item locked me, and a Melmetal deck, right? And just a Melmetal, dude, it is impossible for this deck to get through 2 Melmetals. It's just not happening, bro. They're too fast. They have damage reducing tools, but everything else, man, we were able to clean up. So this is a very, very fun deck. We're running the double copycat, which I think double copycat is starting to become way more common in these stage 2 decks that don't have any other form of built-in draw. I run it in my Decidueye deck, which is on the rise in the meta for sure. It's like the 3rd most played deck in Pocket Mads. Yeah, kind of crazy. Magnezone is also doing really, really well now, and that plays either 1 or 2 copies of copycat depending on the list. You see here, I see my opponent. He's just got a Nihilego. This is why Hitmonlee is cool sometimes. My opponent played double Pokeball and didn't bench anything because I have Hitmonlee in the active spot. So I just red card those Pokemon out of his hand and sent him back down to 3. He used both of his Pokeballs for no reason. Now, he does somehow find a Pokemon off of this and then finds another Pokemon on the end of this Iono. But he gives me Rare Candy Rampardo, so I'm feeling like fairly okay. Just honestly, my opponent high rolls in this game, bro. Like, just 100%. He goes nuts. Like, he has like everything he needs every single turn. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, we're gonna go in with Hitmonchan to do 50 to the Nihilego, because Hitmonchan actually does not hit for weakness. It's like, I guess to try to prevent all of the donks that could happen with this deck, they took away weakness. So we can't one-shot this Nihilego, but I have the Rocky Helmet on it anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I mean, the Nihilego's gonna attack me, and Guzma. Alright, man, you Iona'd yourself into your Mega Absol and your Guzma. I'm sure you play many copies of your deck in that one to make that happen. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And now I'm thinking, well, this guy's like kind of a beast. I'm going to just go into Rampardos, I guess, because I'm expecting him to have a Cyrus in that hand as well, and I don't want to lose the game to Cyrus on my Hitmonlee after he knocks out my Hitmonchan. just seems like, I guess, the most sensible thing. It doesn't feel good to do this at all, but it is the play I'm gonna make. I'm not trying to get Cyrus for game. This way, I'm gonna force my opponent to get double Cyrus. The Absol's not gonna knock out my Rampardos in one hit. It feels like relatively fine to push this forward. I don't love it. There's counterplay to this, but my opponent doesn't see it. What he probably should do this turn is send up Nihilego, because I can't retreat Rampardos. I don't really feel like attacking with Rampardos because I don't want to knock out a Nihilego and take 50 more damage. But I guess he also doesn't know if I'm playing Lily or if I have a Sabrina or a Repel in hand, you know, whatever. So he's going to send up the Mega Absol and go for an attack after quite a bit of thinking here. He does have a Cyrus. See, he does have a Cyrus. So, you know, I did the technically correct play because I would have just lost the next turn if I had attacked with Hitmonchan. Or not the next turn, but, you know, in a couple turns, because I don't have anything. I don't have any hand disruption besides the red card. The red card's all we got. The red card is all we have. But now I get to send up Rampardos and just kind of hope that I can survive. I will say, guys, I am sick. Not anything serious. I just have a cold, but colds, I swear, man, like, just give me the flu. Just like, knock me out, bro. Don't make me deal with this nose, like, just constant stuffy nose, man, talking strange. I'm not a fan of it. And we're just gonna smack the Mega Absol for 130. So why do I think Hitmonchan has done well? Well, like I was saying earlier, I think the metagame is kind of kind to it right now. A lot of Magnezone Oricorio around. Rampardos is a great tech for, or not tech, it's just a great Pokemon to deal with Magnezone. They can't one-shot your Rampardos. You can one-shot their Magnezones. There are the Decidueye is like, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's good, I wouldn't say it's bad. There's Altaria, and Altaria can be good, can be bad. It really just depends on how fast they're able to set up their Altaria. But until the Altaria comes up, Hitmonchan is just going to be knocking out pretty much everything in the active spot. They can even knock out a Swablu if they start it and go first. You could just knock out their Swablu, and then they got to go find their one of Swablu to deal with it. Yeah, there's just some good matchups for this deck right now. And again, if you're not playing in tournaments, which I assume the vast majority of you are not, you will, and you're just playing like regular games like I am here. Look at this. I item lock. He has no item cards. Yes, it's a Corphish. This deck probably wasn't very serious, but just imagine this with any 60 HP basic. It would have been the same thing. I would have item locked him and then finished the knockout with Hitmonchan. If you're just playing random games, you're going to get quick wins just like that. The deck is ridiculously fast. It's a really good time. And honestly, playing Hitmonlee is a lot of fun. You see me start Hitmonlee against a Magikarp deck. I mean, that is just... that basically seals it right there. There's some more game to this, but that pretty much ends the game. At this second, man. At this second. I'm not going to play the research because I'm holding Rare Candy Rampardos. I don't really care to find anything else. And if I get red carded, you know, I don't want to have to go try and find it and be down to research. My opponent's going to attach to the Magikarp and use Alicia, just more fodder for the Hitmonlee, I guess. Like, there's nothing this guy can do except bench double Magikarp or do that, evolve into a Mega Gyarados. And even that, I'm like so okay with because I'm just going to keep hitting it for 30 over and over. And there's the red card. So I think I made the right choice by not playing the research, just leaving that in my deck. Because again, I wasn't like looking for anything necessarily. Now I have Cyrus in hand too. So it was actually just a fantastic red card for me. I don't have Rampardos set up, but I would rather hold this hand where I have my Cyrus than get rid of it to try and go find Rare Candy Rampardos. I mean, I got one piece and I have Cyrus in hand. It's just a beautiful hand for me. And we're just gonna ping the Gyarados. This is what I love, man. I love. This reminds me a lot. This is just like when Gyarados EX came out, and you got to bully Gyarados EX with Hitmonlee. It's crazy to be doing it all this basically a year later, but it's quite fun. It makes me very nostalgic. Stretch kicking Gyaradoses and Magikarps. I love it. I love it. Very fun. Some interesting things going on with the meta. I think tomorrow I'm going to cover Blaziken for you guys, because I think we finally figured out how Blaziken needs to be played in this meta. If you look at the results of like Blaziken Entei during this tournament, it's pretty awful. It is abysmal. Abysmal. I was saying that Blaziken Entei is actually pretty bad after looking at its matchup spread, and all the people that took it to the tournament found out, like, yeah, it is actually the worst thing in the world. I mean, it has one of the worst win rates I've ever seen on a top deck in my life. It's crazy, but I think some people figured out how to play Blaziken, and it seems to be working out a lot better. And look at that, I top decked the rare candy, so now this Gyarados gets sent to the grave, because I smack it for 130, and there's all the 3 points I need to win. Yeah, man, it's just super, super fun deck, bro. We are just blitzing through all of these games. It's the power of Hitmonchan, man. The power of Hitmonchan and Rampardos. I don't even know that I could call it high roll. Like, we're playing double copycat, double research. We're gonna find the Pokemon we want pretty often. And this is just a treat for me, man. I'm going second. I'm looking at a Mantike. I have no idea what this could possibly be, like, while I'm playing the game. I'm not sure what is playing Mantike and a Psychic Energy, but I find out it's the Goomster. Now, unfortunately for my opponent, is I have started double Rocky Helmet. And the thing with Goodra is Goodra will perish to a Rampardos attack if they don't have some sort of damage reducing tool on it, or giant cape, whatever, because they're going to take 20 damage from my Hitmonchan, and then, or from the Rocky Helmet, and then the Rampardos is just going to clean it up. And I researched into double rare candy, so, like, the Rampardos is coming online unless something happens to my hand. If not, then I'm going to be set up, man. It's going to be a problem for my opponent to deal with. Now, if they do get established with a tool on them, this is not going to be good for me. I think my way to win, it will probably become using a Sabrina on whatever is left on the bench, because the Goodra, it can heal a decent amount, but I don't know that it can out-heal my Rampardos' damage with just a Goodra. I mean, it'll heal 100 from a Lily in a Goodra attack, but if I can just, hit with Hitmonchan and then hit with Rampardos twice, I should be all right. Or maybe even just pivot into Rampardos, swing twice, and then let Hitmonchan try to clean it up. There are some things that I would have to think more about the damage while I'm playing it. But I see the evolution into Goodra, and my opponent's going to sit here and think, because he can either attack and lose the game, or he can not attack and let the game continue on and try to find a way to win after that. Unless he has the tool in his hand, of course. If he drops the tool, then things are going to get a little bit more favorable for him than they are at this current moment. This deck usually plays... I mean, it can play 2 of the tools, but, I mean, the list I played only played 1 copy of it, because you're not usually trying to find it that quickly, but a Mantike build, I would think, would want 2 tool cards in order to get it online faster, but he's just going to choose to attack, and we're going to see the patented what your opponent does when they're playing against Hitmonchan Rampardos, which is just concede the game. So he didn't even go out an honorable death. Very sad to see from my opponent. Now here we've got a match against Hydreigon, and what we're going to be looking for is that Chingling, and wow, all Pokemon off the research. Now I'm not even mad about that, because I want the Chingling. I want it. I am holding red card, and I have Chingling on the bench right now. I'm feeling like I'm just going to go item lock my opponent next turn. Now this Rocky Helmet, I wasn't sure where to place it. It'd be okay on the Chingling, but the Hitmonchan was just more so he didn't get damage this turn, and then maybe my opponent didn't hit me with like a Cyrus the turn after. But in hindsight, I don't think that would have mattered, and I think what would matter the most, because right now, like, what I'm trying to prevent is my opponent from having Zweilous, and I can't tell you Zweilous' HP off the top of my head, but it might have made more sense to go put the Rocky Helmet on Chingling and then item lock, because if my opponent evolves into Zweilous and attacks, if it has 80 HP, then Hitmonchan could finish the job. If it has 90 HP, then it, like, wouldn't have mattered, because my plan is still, like, Chingling's probably just going to go down. Hitmonchan will either clean up if my opponent doesn't get Zweilous, or maybe I just get Rampardos and win the game here. I wasn't really thinking too much about the Rocky Helmet damage. My opponent is thinking long and hard. I don't know what it is. It's either, hey man, it's either you lost the game or you got something for me, right? It's This is where most of the length of games comes from with this deck. He has a Pokemon Center Lady to heal the 10. So the Rocky Helmet placement actually did matter. Not because he evolved into his wireless, because he was holding his Pokemon Center Lady. Very, very crazy. A top deck Pokeball, it's the most useless thing in the world. I'll show it to him though and let him know, yo, I got the gold Pokeball. Don't know if you do, but I do. And then I'm just gonna jingly noise on him again, put him back down to 50, and now, dude, you need something. The good part about this deck is item locking it, man. This deck plays like 3 basics. Maybe 4. It plays double Dino, a Mega Absol, and then maybe like a Cleffa or an Eevee. That's it. That's all of their basics. So if they can't use Pokeball, they're looking for 3 of their, 15 or so cards remaining. It is not that unlikely for them to just completely miss on any basic Pokemon. My opponent's going to attach the Dino and headbutt the Chingling for whatever reason after taking a really long time to stare at his cards and realize he lost the game. And then Hitmonchan's going to come up and punch this baby in the face, man. Hitmonchan is a talented baby puncher. Oh, he doesn't even get to because my opponent concedes. It's all they do, bro. It's all they do. It's like they, I don't know, man. I think it's very dishonorable to concede the game like that after wasting my time not accepting the punch in your baby's face. I mean, I don't understand it. I just don't get it. But dude, again, man, it's such a really just fast deck, fast wins. This red card. This red card from my opponent. Oh man. We're gonna item lock. Throw the Rocky Helmet on the Chingling because I don't like it's really not gonna matter where this extra 20 damage comes from. Now maybe it would have been better on the Rampardos depending on what my opponent's basic Pokemon in their hand is. But watch this. This is awesome, dude. This is awesome. This is maybe the best thing you could ever see. My opponent's gonna Rolling Frenzy, doesn't bench a Pokemon, just goes for the Miltank slap, and then before I can do anything, concedes the game, dude. He's like, I don't even want to see it. He's like, I know he has it. I don't even want to see it. That guy's having the worst day of his life, and I made it even worse. You know how tilted you gotta be to concede before even seeing the rare candy? To think that your life is so awful that your opponent that you red carded your opponent into Skull Fossil Rare Candy Rampardos. And now it's in a video, so if you're out there, bro, yeah, you got dunked on, man, and I did it. I did it. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world, bro. I can't lie. I can't lie. That's just so terrible. Here we have an actual good game that goes the distance. Very, very rare. But this is against Suicune, right? This isn't a deck that we can kind of go turbo on and demolish. You see, I have a lot of basic Pokemon in my hand, but I'm going to elect to not. So I know this deck is Suicune, and because of that, I'm just trying to keep the bench limited. My opponent is also making the most telegraphed play in the world. He's putting down every single card in his hand, and he's staying active with Froakie. Now, I do have the red card in hand, but I top deck Rampardos. So I'm thinking, do I red card? Because he has it. I know he has Rare Candy Greninja, like without a doubt. But I decide, you know what? I'm just going to punch, because the only way I get punished by this is if my opponent has Rare Candy Greninja and Irida. Because otherwise, if he does go Rare Candy Greninja like I think he's going to, Rampardos can clean up the KO next turn. So I'm like fine with this. And there's the Rare Candy. And here comes the Greninja EX. Like I knew this is what was going to come down. And I knew that with the Rocky Helmet damage, I would be able to knock him out. And there he goes for Copycat. So I did not get full punished by holding the red card. It would have been pretty crazy for him to have all of that off rip with no other draw. And luckily we get to avoid it. So now this Greninja's down to 120. I got a pretty weakened Hitmonchan, but I feel absolutely fine just attaching to the Rampardos and retreating. Now, I do have another choice. Like, do I red card this turn? Well, I'm not going to red card this turn because my opponent didn't play down any basic Pokemon. I feel that it's better to hold the red card after Suicune does some draws, and I'm also not going to play anything on my bench because right now Rampardos is about to go down to 100 HP, and adding anything more to my bench is going to make it possible for this Suicune to get a return KO on me. So because that's not happening, I'm just going to hold everything in my hand. I do not want a Suicune in a turn to be able to knock out my Rampardos. Rampardos can do 130, leave the Suicune with 30, but then if my opponent is able to, like, Irida, then Hitmonchan is not going to be able to knock out, and I could lose the game that way. So I really want this Rampardos to get 2 attacks off. Now, my opponent plays a Research, throws a Froakie down, uses a Pokeball, so he does end up getting a lot of the basics that I wanted to avoid. But also, this deck, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, this deck, usually, it can just play double Suicune, double Froakie. I'm going to go ahead and red card because I don't want my opponent to have another Rare Candy, a Greninja in hand, and I also don't want to telegraph that I have the Hitmonchan or Hitmonlee in hand. I don't want to give my opponent the option to knock out this Rampardos in one hit, and I don't want to bench the Hitmonlee. Now, there are a couple different ways you could do this, I guess. Like, if my opponent did heal the Suicune, he wouldn't have been able to attack this turn because he would have had to attach to it and then Irida. So I was probably fine benching the Hitmonlee, but I really wanted to keep it a secret, a surprise, but I don't think it was the right play looking back on it. That my opponent would not have been able to heal and attack with a Suicune. He does use a second Copycat, Rare Candies into the Greninja EX, and he's going to move into the Suicune, obviously, and attack me. And since he's already used his supporter, barring any potions or something weird, I'm just going to be able to throw the Hitmonlee on the bench and snipe him for 30 when he didn't even realize that was a possibility for me. So there you go. You get to see Hitmonlee doing work on a meta deck right here. Perfect damage numbers for Hitmonlee to finish off this KO and give me the win. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love the Hitmonlee. All right, guys. Well, that is all of our games for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have fun with this list. It is a blast to play. Quick wins, quick losses if things aren't going to go your way, for sure. It can compete against some of the meta decks, even in the late game. Rampardos is very good, and I think not having all the Lucario slop in there just makes things run a lot more smoothly. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe on your way out. I'll see you on the next one.